There's a little delay, slight delay, but I did it as good as I can. I had to unmute the button so it could work, so you can hear the sound, and I can do Vigilante Williamson here on the 74th episode of my show, the Vigilante Williamson Show. Rare on camera appearance. It's been a while. It's been a while since I've been on camera. Mainly because this is the first thing I do when I wake up. And I'm like, I don't feel like it. But I gotta get on camera for you guys. Gotta see my lovely, well, you don't want to see my face. Lovely fat sticking out of my mask. Oh boy, embrace whiteness, be on time. Again, first thing I do when I wake up. So I'm like, I gotta, kind of. The show's I prepped the show the night before, but I do want to give everything a look over. So, apologies for the lateness. And we'll talk about some critical race theory. I want to thank anybody who's watching live or on the playback. We know a lot of people watch the playback. And thank you anyone who's been watching some of the videos. Shout out to The Wake Down, who I also saw comment on as his secret identity, which was cool. I appreciate the extra comments. But shout out to The Wake Down. He's been helping me out with a lot of thumbnails. And even the thumbnails that he's not doing, he's inspired. I've like this one I did, but it was inspired by what he's been doing. So thank you, Wake Down. Thank you for clipping this show. Thank you for helping this channel grow, even though it's not actually working because the algorithm hates me. I'm back down to like 658 or something after being at 664 again. Maybe because the number that evil milestone, the devil's messing with me. But in any event, I thank anyone who's watching the show and anyone who's been contributing to this channel. As a viewer, you guys are awesome. You guys are really, really awesome. Speaking of you guys, let's see who's in the chat, or at least was waiting. Again, apology for the delay. Snorter Poop is Q Burr. Hello. Dancing a victory dance. Excuse me. Let's see. Just another red shirt. He's not just another red shirt. He's the red shirt, the definitive red shirt. I know there's a son of red shirt going around. Or he's been around, but yeah, he's the definitive red shirt. All respect to the son, though. All respect to anyone in this community, or this fellowship, or this alliance, or whatever you want to call this collective of weirdos who've come together to try to at least comment on pop culture. I don't know if we're going to save it. Hopefully, create a little bit of our own. Cinch Dildo, who's his white supremacy showing as usual. All thinker, the Islington girl. Matt's not here and the Islington girl's here, so I'm surprised about that. But I appreciate the Islington girl being here. Thank you for being here. Maybe because you haven't gotten any notifications. Who knows? Maybe you're actually getting notifications now, because there's no guarantee anyone does. But you guys are here, and I appreciate it. Again, apologies for the delay. And I almost didn't even do an episode today. I try to do stuff daily, but I can't do it daily because of burnout. And honestly, I don't really want to talk about any of this stuff. Not like this is too much for me. We've talked about crazy subjects. We've talked about stuff. This is actually fairly tame and actually just kind of contextualize some of the stuff we've already covered. But there was nothing that it's like, oh, another company imports critical race theory into their stuff. I already have a Coca-Cola shirt when Coca-Cola did it. Check that out on Teespring. It's like, oh, the left just blames racism whenever they lose, but this is nothing new. And I'm not even a political person. We'll talk about some of the Virginia fallout because we've covered the Loudoun County School District and their crazy rules, which has led to the assault of a young girl and the arrest of her father. We've covered that, but we'll get into detail and we'll reset it because hey, there may be new people. We don't want to just assume you've spent all these hours watching me. I do want to reset it. We'll also talk about something I meant to talk about in the Culture Crime Fires with Matt yesterday. Also on the channel. Should be on Spotify fairly soon. I got to get this show on Spotify while we're at it. But I meant to talk about Elon Musk versus the UN. And I thought it was very telling that the UN kind of folded. They talked their shit and Elon calls them on it. and then they kind of fold. So we'll get into that as well. And actually, I just realized I don't have a positive story today. If you haven't watched the show, if you are one of the noobs, we always end the show on something positive because there's no guarantee we'll get much positive stuff from the actual news. Yep, I found one. So yeah, that's gonna be awesome. Sorry. I feel a little bit better all day. All day already. Let's see. That 70s Rock fan. Elon should just buy the UN and close them down. He's rich. I'm not the guy who listen, man. I don't it's interesting. Maybe in a year this conversation will be more interesting, or you'll understand why I'm a little trepidatious about it. But in any event, I'm not the guy who worships anything in the flesh, and nor am I the guy that has high regards for too much from other people in general, let alone a billionaire I've never met. So I think a lot of people, especially in this, not necessarily the fandom per se, even though there's a crossover there, but just who are maybe on the anti-leftist side. I won't even say conservative, because Lord knows I'm not. They tend to celebrate him because he seems a little bit more freedom-minded. And a lot of people like him for good reason. He's charismatic, but I don't view compared to Bezos, compared to that Demon Gates, Elon's kind of the hashtag good guy. You know what I mean? I don't necessarily view him quite like that. But he says funny things sometimes, so we'll cover that. And yeah, so let's see what you guys are talking about. Let's change the title. No positive news today. What do you guys think of the title? Any feedback you guys want to provide on anything on the channel, please do. We're always trying to get better. Give money, UN. Yeah. Oh, well, $6 billion. That just shows you how competent they are, right? Oh, $6 billion. It could change it. You guys are incompetent. You made a statement that you didn't prepare for. Because if you had prepared for it, you would have had to reply. How do you even know $6 billion can feed 42 million people, which was the actual claim? They didn't even back that claim up because they just said it, and he called them on it. This is why charity doesn't work. This is why Eat the Rich doesn't work also. So yeah, we will get into that. I'll really crack into that in a second. What are we? I see 70 saying let's not and say we did, but I'm not sure what he's saying. Change down on public news. Never stalk a bear for that matter. Never stalk a bear. Yeah, makes sense. If I told Elon was hungry, perhaps he could slip me a few meals. I will settle for some Doge or some Shiba. I got some Doge, but I should have got in Shiba. And yeah, Islington simp. I don't. Well, I guess you've admitted you're a simp for the bad guy. So, which is completely typical for women. But I appreciate the $3 tip, just a tip, and I'm going to see what you did, what you said, and why don't you have the stream elements up? Well, you never know. Oh, looks like they've changed their site a little bit. Old stream elements. I really do appreciate the tip. Let's see what the Islington girl says. Here's some love for you too. I appreciate the love, Islington girl. I appreciate the love. Or Islington simp. I'm sorry. I don't want to misgender. All right, let me get me up. Me. So I can actually run the show. Thank you, Islington girl. Elon charismatic. Relative to Bill Gates and what's the other one? Bezos? Yes. He was able to bone that shithead herd. So he has some charisma. But it could have been money. But he was in and out like like a bank robber. I don't know if it was money. I think it was a little bit more swag. The Bear Bunch. Hey, I don't want to get sued by Cartoon Network and Warner. We Bears. Matthew Birkeland, Virginia Lieutenant Governor and her husband were Marines. We will get into the Lieutenant Governor, she's the face of white supremacy. And we'll talk about that concept. That concept interests me, man. How far can they go alienating people, and really being outright racist and ignorant. They're like petulant children, a lot of them. But we'll get into that. I want to see what you guys are talking about. Haven't watched it in a while, but the cartoon We Bare Bears was amusing when it started. I remember, the animated people really were fans of it when it started. Hail VW, Hail Parrothead. Appreciate you being here. Let's not talk politics and say we did. I see that's the context. Thank you, Redshirt, for letting me know what you guys are talking about. Very happy about the VA thing. For the record, I'll crack it open when we get into it. White backlash of white supremacy. A black woman has become the face of the white supremacy. We're done. Well, don't you know? So is Larry Elder. So is Kyrie Irving. So is Dave Chappelle. Because they, in any way, Kyrie Irving, who's given so much money to Black Lives Matter, who's been like to the point of annoyance. To the point of annoyance. The second he's slightly out of line, it's not. He's the face of white supremacy. Immediately. I don't even agree with Kyrie Irving so much. But to do that to somebody that put so much support, he believes in it. Hey, to be fair, a lot of local chapters of Black Lives Matter actually every now and again do good stuff. They do. That's just being honest. And as we know, they're not being paid any of those branded bucks from last year, because that all went to by and large mansions. Not very little went to those actual chapters. But Kyrie was all supportive of him. They were all in bed with them. And he said, no, you know what? I want to make my own medical decisions and not be forced into anything. And it's like, oh, get the fuck out, you white supremacist, you. Like, what the fuck? And granted, I do think BLM is white supremacist, but that's neither here nor there. From their angle, like, what is with this? And they keep doing this. This is basically, if you don't agree with me, you're either racist or you have internalized white supremacy. We get it, right? Normies are now going to be exposed to that. That was on the internet. That was on the internet last year and the year, but now that's going to hit normies. And I really want to know what they're going to do. The parents, the black parents who go to these PTA meetings, risking FBI listing, what are they going to do when, they're called white supremacists for not wanting some blue-haired white teacher, some stink puss white teacher, to tell their black kids that the oppressors have his life at a cap, so he has a glass ceiling, he'll never be shit. And they just say, hey, I don't want that. What happens when they go into the and this has actually happened in the Atlanta area, when they go into these I don't know what to call it, crazy ass principals, and they say, hey, I don't want my kid to live to go to a segregated school. It's not 1945. And they are actually segregating schools in the name of critical race theory. A black principal, by the way. That's actual white supremacy, you ask me. That's neither here nor there. But that's their gimmick. And there's the shame. The title of this episode, where the white women at? Because white women were blamed by Democrats as well. That, to me, that's definitely biting the hand that feed you, right? I get that the Democratic Party and leftists in general, they don't really care about black people. Like, if they're getting killed by police, then they care about black people. And then if they could use them for some big, some coup, or for some, fake moral outrage, then they care about black people. But they don't really care about us. They don't really like us. But white women are the Democratic Party. If not for white women, if not for, if it wasn't for upper class white women, none of the past 20 months would have been possible. Seriously. And I'm not making a repeal the 19th joke, so I'm in before that. But so much of what's happened is because of, white women and feminism and Time's Up and all this other stuff. And it bleeds into intersectionality and all this other stuff, all because of this base, mostly college-aged, middle class white women, right? They're the engine that makes all of this wokeness go. If you're talking about the left as a whole, and of course, as pause for the Democratic Party. You could blame me. You could yell at me. Do you want a sandwich? See, look at this. Look at this. This is awesome. It's awesome. Yes, I want a sandwich, of course. BLT. Toast. You got to toast the bread. Got to toast the bread. But yeah, this is a thing where, and again, I'm not a vote red no matter who guy either, right? I do not like the Democrats at all. I do not like the left. And a lot of my views sway conservative, right? I've talked about the abortion thing where actually it's more libertarian legally, where legally I support it. Socially, I don't, if that makes sense. Like, you have the right to do it, but I don't think you should. It doesn't matter what I think. It's a free country, though. And I don't believe I should legislate my beliefs either. But I'm not going to, go hard and against something because it does align with it. So that's where my little gray area is. So I'm not a hardcore in any direction, right? But I'm not, I'm not a Republican. That's not the guy. I actually know of somebody who has a public office, and they didn't put a party affiliation. I was so like privately like, yes, because these parties, this two-party system doesn't work. And as much as I am against the left and against the Dems, pull the libs, right? I don't got a MAGA hat. I'm never going to put on a MAGA hat, guys. I'm never going to be a diehard Republican or conservative. More of a libertarian, more of a ripitarian, as I've said. But and I say all that to say that while I am very much amused by what happened in Virginia, I'm not like, yeah, we want. It's like, those individuals who won those elections won. I do think it's indicative of what I was talking about, a potential second silent majority. I've talked about that the past couple of weeks, really. It started off with seeing corporations, even though we'll talk about corporations still been in the need of wokeness, we're starting to see more corporations maybe not go so hard in a woke direction. We saw the She-Hulk thing, and we're seeing other elements in culture, even the Dave Chappelle thing to some extent. Maybe, because there are a lot of people who support him and a lot of people who are going with it. And technically, even though Netflix, which they're still a demonized company because of the cutie thing, we see that they're backing Dave. And we see that they are, and that's a reason. There's a reason, because they will make more money doing that. And that mattering at all, as we know, has not been the norm the past couple of years. So we are seeing a slight shift back in the direction of some semblance of common sense and some sort of, even if it's not common sense, opposition to the establishment, whether they know they're the establishment or not, because Lord knows they think they're rebels while they hold every position of power. But we're seeing some more anti-leftists. Maybe they're not. Maybe they're the same Bozy. Like, I'm not really a Republican, but these people are trying to fucking, lower my kids' self-esteem with this critical race theory. There's also that. They're also misreporting what critical race theory really is. Oh, we're just teaching history about the country. These white supremacists don't want that. It's like, no, it's not what critical race theory is. You're teaching that if a black kid works hard, he's a white supremacist. That's what you're teaching people. You're trying to reinstitute segregation. You are reinstituting segregation. So that's why we're opposed to it. We have practical reasons to show that, but that's not going to be reported because critical race theory is their new gimmick, because they need racism. I didn't even understand what the hell the tiki thing was. I know that was a part of this whole Virginia election thing. Someone, I don't know, like, I guess they were posing as white supremacists, but I had never heard of the white supremacists they were posing as, so I had no clue. It was totally above, just no clue what the fuck was happening. None whatsoever. But yeah, that the left is pissing me off by accusing everybody who doesn't agree with them of something, attacking their base. They're attacking white women. They're attacking black people because they don't do what they say like a brat. And I think we are seeing more and more people just say, you know what, this is some bullshit. We see more and more groups. Another thing, oppose the jab, whether they're union groups, whatever. start to slightly at least be purple pill. Maybe not full red pill, maybe not full black pill, but at least purple. At least a dark purple. And we're starting to see people uh, kind of go against the grade, so to speak, because the grade has been installed by the state sponsored government is communism in the form of the Democratic Party. So that's what we've gotten, and we're starting to see that backlash. So let's see what you guys are talking about. I mean, I can go through this. We did talk about the lieutenant governor. I love this. Let's actually read the tweet. It's not the messaging, folks. The country simply was white supremacy. The lovely face of white supremacy. And we showed actually her campaign where I think she's holding an AR. Don't go at me. Don't at me. Whatever gun she was holding a cool looking gun. And she's a former Marine, as mentioned. So is her husband. Shout out to the Marines. Not former Marine, right? You guys corrected me on that. So let's actually read this. Some of this is funny. When Democrats lose, Democrats blame white women. Shout out to the Post Millennial. Shout out to Libby Emmons of the Post Millennial, a hipster in Brooklyn. Good luck. And after Tuesday's results favoring Republicans and moderates over progressives and their policies across the country, hashtag white women was trending on Twitter. Oh, those white women. Do I have it? I think I have the drop. I used to have the drop. Maybe I don't anymore. I don't. I thought I had it. I thought I had Where Are the White Women at? That sucks. I feel like I don't know. I could have swore I had that drop. I do not. All right. But why? Because many see the failure of progressivism or regressivism, as it actually is, the way they see everything else through a lens of race. And these are mostly white people who see things through the lens of race. I mean, we saw Jamel Hill's tweet, but most of these tweets that I saw, I mean, it's too much to bring up. And I brought some of them up yesterday on the Culture Crime Fires. Check that out, also on this channel. They were mostly white people calling other white people racist for electing a black person, and it doesn't make sense. It's and this is common. Like Larry Elder, he's white supremacy, and again, Kyrie Irving, who's been basically almost a good little soldier for the longest because his views align with theirs, but he is a free thinker for what it's worth. He still is a flat earther, and he's anti-jab, so that's just what it was. And that caused issue. White supremacy. That's why he's technically white pawn or something like that. Pawn on a white chessboard, something like that. Dave Chappelle. All he did was say common sense things about gender. White supremacy. White women, you guys don't vote how we want. White supremacy. This is insane. This is insane. I know a lot of people are like, well, they've been doing this for years because it's been on the internet, right? They've been doing this for years. Oh, we just laugh at it. I saw something where somebody was chanting, "Let's go, Brandon," in the stands, and the lady said, "Oh, that's racist." You know what I mean? So we see this, but it's been like normalized. It's been normalized, and now it's starting to hit normies because it was normalized on the internet, on the twatters. But like boomer normies that were hearing this shit. And so now that's going to hit, and not just boomer normies who are white. I'm joking with the Y thing. Shout out to Stitch Dildo for introducing that to my lexicon. But it hit boomer normies of all races because you're of a different race, or as they would call, because they're actual white supremacists and classify people as colored, person of color, and you don't go along with the Democrats, you must be a white supremacist. White supremacist, and that's insane. That's insane, and that's insane that that's being allowed and encouraged by this state-sponsored lamestream media. Is really insane. Let's read a little bit more of this. When parents spoke up and louder in the Fairfax County, they're not the only ones to speak up. We'll cover that in a second. Juan Williams said the notion that parents' rage was actually a stand-in for white supremacists. A girl was sexually assaulted because of a kid wearing a skirt, and the school system arrested the dad and put him on the FBI watch list. That's a factual statement. And because someone is opposed to that, white supremacists. Obviously, duh. Normal people are not. I want to see what normal people do. I don't know what they're going to do because I didn't know they were going to bend the knee for 20 months. So who knows what normal people are going to do? But I really want to see how are normies going to react to this insanity, and how's the mainstream media going to react to that reaction? You know what I mean? How are they going to just attack all of America for having an out of line view? Maybe they will, because that's what they're starting to do. So let's keep going. Republicans won a majority in Virginia, taking hold of both the lieutenant governorship as well as the governorship. Atlantic columnist Jamel Hill said it was white supremacy, regardless of the fact that the new lieutenant governor, Winsome Sears, is a black woman and a veteran of the armed forces, as I said, Marine. But the country, and this is Detroit's own Jamil Hill. It's not the messaging, folks. This company simply loves white supremacy. And I guess, man, this is insane. And then, Winsome Sears showing the burner too. This is I think it's a different picture of her with the thing. I think, or maybe it's the same one. I thought she was wearing something a little bit differently in that one. So they replied back to her. Did she reply back? And Joy Reid. All these idiots. What did Joy? Let's read what Joy Reid said. Cause I usually skip stuff. I gotta let you guys know what's going on. You have to be willing to vocalize that these Republicans are dangerous. This isn't a party that's just another party that disagrees with us on tax pilot. See, at this point, they're dangerous. They're dangerous to our national security because stoking that kind of soft white nationalism leads to the hardcore stuff. What is white nationalism about this, man? And you know what? Normal people, there are normal people who just, Virginia, they must just be racist. Because you're not in Virginia, you don't know any better, right? And they don't know all the details we know. But they too will get their day if ever they get out of line. But they don't know that. They don't know that, they must be white supremacists. They don't even know, they probably don't even know that the lieutenant governor is black. Hell, we saw coverage of the Kyrie Irving. They didn't even put that BLM was the ones doing the marches. It's reminiscent of the 6th and those radicals. There are people in this country who are scared of people who are Republicans. They believe the mainstream media lie. And I think people who are consider themselves conservative or Republicans do need to realize that. And then, okay. Yeah, it's talking about the messaging. Republicans are racist. And anytime they go along with actual white supremacy, like they want to separate kids based upon race. They are literally doing that in schools. If you're opposed to that's actual white supremacy. But if you're opposed to that, they call you a white supremacy. I know rules for radicals. You guys probably already have it in the chat. Or this is the way they do. I know that, but normies don't. Normies don't. Normies who, unfortunately, will never see my material. Thank you, YouTube, for constantly taking my subs and bottlenecking me. But they have no clue what they're in for. But this is going to be the start. Technically it already started, but the mass media just constantly shaming normal people like they've been shaming us in entertainment media and entertainment stuff. So white women are the foot soldiers of white supremacist patriarchy. Goodness gracious. They just you would think in a two-party system, you wouldn't assume that just because someone voted against your beliefs that they're automatically white supremacists or automatically, well, patriarchy is good, but automatically whatever. But this is how they think. Here's some as a strong white woman. I can't stand scared ass weak white women who are baited into fear using racist BS. Grow the fuck up. It's pitiful. Explain. They never have a receipt for fucking anything. They just say random radical bullshit. And they never have receipts for anything. They just say shit. And they just say shit as if there's gospel. And this is why I'm opposed to them. This is why I think they're fucking demons. Fuck the left. Go fuck yourself. Simplify for Miss Sears. I mean, I don't know these guys' politics. I don't know that the Republicans are good, but Republicans are going to do better. I just know that the left are fucking demons. That's all I know. I don't know that the Republicans can do better. I think a lot of times they just sell for the left, or they just do whatever they say. You know, they govern at the speed limit. Sometimes they govern at the same limit as the Democrats. But I'm just glad that they're losing. That's it. I don't know that the Republicans are going to do better. I'll still hold them under scrutiny. I'm not a Ted Cruz or what's the guy, a Mitch McConnell fan. There's guys I don't like, but fuck the Democrats and fuck you for thinking you guys get to tell people what to do or tell people how to think, and you can just accuse people who don't agree with you of any fucking thing you want without fail. Like absolutely ridiculous. And we gotta not let this be normalized to us, even though it is, because they've been doing this to us. We were the testing ground, quite frankly. They've been doing that to us for so long, where it's just, oh, you don't like the Last Jedi, racist, and this is ridiculous. But that's what they normalize. They were doing that for us. Now that they're out of alpha with that mechanism, they're into the beta and the open beta for any, now it's just voting. Eventually, well, it's not just voting; it's the jab too. Your white supremacists, you don't want the jab. But we're seeing that beta start to get released as the full version of, shame the country into voting how you want. And you guys have so much. The votes don't even fucking matter as is, and you still have to shame people because it's not just into voting how you want; it's to thinking how you want. That's what this is ultimately about. Fuck you, mainstream media. Fuck you, Joy Reid. I'll give Jamel Hill a Detroit pass, but nothing more. Fuck you all. Fuck you all. Okay. Is the girl. We ruined everything. I'm not even going to argue. I just bake bread and buy my business. White women are responsible for a lot, man. Responsible for a lot. This whole LGBTQ, which, not opposed to LGBTQ, but just when you're talking about to the extent that you can't say anything ever bad about them, or if somebody uses, like what happened in the Loud and Comments, we're going to shortly cover some of that stuff. The next article we're talking about is some of the students, their reaction to what happened. But basically, all that stuff, white women have been the foot soldiers for that shit. Remember VW when someone on their side, racism is okay, someone on their side that says anything, they go all out. I wonder if they know that they literally are creating the only, like, if you are a black man who cares about your people and wants to do things to better your people, they are literally the biggest opposition to that. Because they govern how you can act and how you can do that, and they are the biggest impedance to that, at least culturally. Um, Vigilante Williamson says, brightest day, hail brightest day. Please give my man a sub. He's getting close to 500. He might already be at 500. No sandwich for you, eat a salad. Yeah, I know I've gotten a little bigger. A lot bigger. I'm fat as fuck. Fat as fuck. Going to be on Dave Brink's channel at 2 p.m. Couple of minutes. Okay, so Fish Chozo's already on Dave Brink's channel. Check him out there. Hail brightest day. And I hate a Fish Chozo. Nom. Hell Islington girl, just another red shirt, Fish Chozo. I say to everyone. Don't rep colors. Yeah, that red and blue stuff is masonry. BD. Terry McCool lips bought it on himself. Yeah, he was saying some wild shit. Two-party system is part of the problem. Two sides of the same coin. Fake choices distract people from realizing their true power as free-thinking individuals. I agree. 70s rock fan. I agree. Yeah, the guy's a weirdo. Even a Canadian can see that. Yeah, he's a weird motherfucker. But yeah, two-party system and the binary. It's funny to talk about non-binary in regards to gender. We should have a non-binary view in regards to politics, and because I do, I really, this is not really Republicans versus Democrats. This is the people versus the authoritarian government. And that's nothing more, nothing less. It's nice when tables turn of why women. Hopefully, they will now help hashtag fight with craziness. Fight like hell, says Noble Iro. Nobody would even watch cuties if the right wing Spurs didn't go mental about it. But like, bro, they're normalizing like uh kiddie porn, man. Like I you got what do you do? Like, how do you not spurg out about that? That's like like I get what you're saying to an extent that, but like, so you just let it go unchecked? That doesn't seem like a good answer either. Style would probably give us a C+. He wouldn't hate it. Yeah. Women are under attack by the degenerate global elites, men in women's washrooms, men in women's sports, men claiming to be women, usurping women's rights. But if the white women do not cover that, if they're not all for that, they're bigots. You're a bigot. Oh, shout out to Matt's football merch. Bryce Day. She might have been holding AR, but she wasn't pointing it at us. Boom. Hashtag Alec Baldwin. Yeah. There you go. I'm sure she's well trained with a weapon and much better trained than Alec Baldwin was. Makes sense if you adopt their target worldview, which they're pushing in every cultural avenue. But I think I'm hoping they're going to continue to overstep their boundaries and piss people off. I think that's why we're getting this quote unquote second wave of the silent majority, the second wave of people being red pill. I think a lot of this is pissing people off. You're worthless, Alec Baldwin. I haven't covered that. I haven't really covered that stuff. I mean, I talked about it the one day, when it came out. Does not look good for Baldwin or the armor. That armor looks like a piece of work. Hell's Axe said, "Hey to dildo." Who says hi back? It's pretty messed up. No one wants this garbage pushing their kids. Yeah. And he's back, and the stream actually happens at 3 p.m. So maybe it's 2 p.m. Central. So I appreciate you being back, Fizz. Cool progressive moms do, Islington girl. Yeah, they do. They push this on their kids. Your son grabbed the Barbie. Clearly, he's a woman. No one not retarded then. Yeah. Want to become famous? Buy followers and views on bigfollows.com. Shout out to bigfollows.com and Blackship1995 on Twitch. Shout out to the bots. Shout out to the bots and the thoughts. Reject modernity, embrace tradition, white supremacists, white women. There you go, such a dildo. Who cares? Being called racist doesn't mean shit anymore. Well, that's to us because we've heard this shit for years. This is brand new shit to normies. This is brand new. This is like, what? I just didn't want my kids to be raped by people in skirts. I'm a white supremacist. Some normies are getting hit in the head over this shit, and are completely is completely new to him. Zax says, "What about dildo's victimhood? He gets raped multiple times a day. Nobody cares." Zax says, "Such a dildo. No one cares about the plight of such a dildo." Yeah, please sub to Brightest Day. Please do. Zax cares. Zax cares as though no one else cares. Get an underground railroad of dildos going. I'm not sure. I think most politicians already have that. All right. We'll touch on this shortly because like I said, I didn't really have I've been rambling, but I didn't have too much emotion towards most of these stories. But this is what I do. We did cover Loudoun County. This is in Virginia. This is part of the fallout. We've talked about even one of you guys commented about how women are being replaced. I believe it was 70s. There's so much attack on women. So if you guys remember, there was a sexual assault. That and the initial one happened last semester where a young man wore a skirt, got into the women's bathroom, and assaulted a young lady. And then that same young man apparently did so again this semester, just last month in October. In between those two incidents, as we covered, the father of the daughter who was allegedly assaulted, I should say alleged, because these are all minors. I don't want any legal issues. Allegedly assaulted, which I think it is confirmed, but again, just for legal purposes. But the father of the alleged victim was arrested because they were being transphobic and put on a FBI watch list, allegedly. For anyone who, because as we also have covered on this channel, if you go to a parent teacher meeting, the teachers could put you on a watch list that shows you may be a domestic terrorist. And anything that doesn't agree with their agenda makes you a domestic terrorist. Simple as that. And it not agree, saying an LGBTQ person, which this person probably wasn't even that, shows that you are wrong, or just showing a loophole in one of their policies, proving them to be wrong. Well, that means you must be a bigot and a domestic terrorist. And we saw that was what happened to the father. And obviously, again, there was another incident with the same perpetrator, alleged perpetrator. And while the parents and while the teachers do all their bullshit, the kids, the students, they're pissed, rightfully so. Dozens of Loudoun County students staged a walkout over this assault by the boy in the girls' bathroom. There's a boy, again, the same guy, or same young man who was allegedly in multiple assaults now. He was accused of sexually assaulting a girl in a school bathroom. Oh, he was found guilty by a judge. So I should take away the alleged. This is no longer alleged. This is official because he was found guilty. Students in Loudoun County, Virginia, which was really, one of the biggest. I wonder how big this story got, because I can never tell how big stuff is outside of our sphere. I kind of tell with just normal people that I interact with. But this was a huge reason why the election in Virginia went the way it did. And students who participate will not be penalized for their participation. That's good. And if we do have students that participate, do so peacefully without signage. Fuck that. They should have signs. And according with the students' rights and responsibilities, we all reviewed and signed at the beginning of the year. Oh, fuck you. Fuck you, you demon. Like, this, you should have signs. Fuck these assholes. Students at Stonebridge, Broad Run, and Riverside, other schools said they were participating in the walkout. So it was just they left class for 10 minutes. But it was multiple schools did it. Let's see. But it wasn't widespread. Organizers asked students and teachers to wear white, make protest signs, and so it's 75 students out of one school. The mass spread walkouts across the county did not come to fruition. The Broad walkout came, so the Broad Run walkout came hours ahead of what is expected to be a contentious school board meeting in Loudoun County. So the judge on Monday found that the kid guilty of sexually assaulting a girl in the girl's bathroom at Stonebridge High School last spring, and the boy was wearing a skirt during the incident. And this is the girl's father, Scott Smith. He plans to file a lawsuit against the school system over the matter, which he should. And this is the incident we covered of him being arrested for basically just being there. Some Karen sick the police on him, and this is what happened to him. So he says, we are relieved the justice was served for Smith's daughter. Again, there was another incident. This is just over his incident. I'm not sure what happened with the second one. This horrible incident has affected the Smith family deeply. They're grateful for today's outcome. Yeah, there's a second charge against the boy still pending. He is accused of forcing a classmate in an empty room and groping her. Jesus. So it says, I want to acknowledge that our process and procedures were not adequate to respond to these recent events, Ziegler says. It's become clear that our administrative procedures have not kept pace with the growth we've seen in our county. What? No, it's clear that if you didn't have a national media bearing down on you, you wouldn't have done a fucking thing. That's what's clear to me. That's what's crystal fucking clear. Email from May 28th revealed this month Ziegler telling the school board about the assault allegation that took place in the bathroom at Stonebridge at the June school board meeting when Smith was arrested. However, Ziegler declared that the predator transgender student or person simply does not exist, and that we have no record of these assaults occurring in our restrooms. Well, a judge has obviously disagreed with that. And he apologized for not providing a safe system. No, you should apologize for putting your agenda first. That's what happened. This upset your agenda. This upset the rules of your agenda. You saw a loophole that pretty much everybody who was anyone told you when all this bathroom stuff started here in North Carolina a few years ago. And everyone was up in arms on this bigotry, NBA being all woke, we'll move the All-Star game for a year because you guys are don't want to let men in the women's bathroom because you're bigots. I thought the law was stupid because it's unenforceable, but the law has a logic because of shit like this, the potential for shit like this, the potential for a guy who may or may not be transgender, may or may not be LGBTQ in any way, but is a predator and is a fucking demon to use that as a means of exploiting it. Like it provides a loophole for that type of person. Why open that up? Why open up this can of worms? Oh, you must be a bigot. Okay. And then something happens. Then you see the worst case scenario where something happens and that guy, because he's considered a bigot, he goes to fucking jail and he gets put on a list. He'll sue for that. He'll have his day in court. But like this is a nightmare scenario because people don't stop to think. No matter what your agenda is, no matter what you think about something, you need to consider that somebody fucking disagrees with you and maybe they have good reasons to them. So even if you are all pro LGBTQ, you need to at least consider, you know what, that still is a loophole. You're right. Somebody who isn't this can use this to exploit it. We need to at least account for that, or at least understand that somebody may be in opposition to what we think based upon that. But they always want to project what they think your reasoning is. Oh, it's not the education system why people voted that way. It's white supremacy. That's why they elected a black lieutenant governor. It doesn't even make sense, but that's the logic of the left. Shout out to the kids that did do this. It looks like it was at multiple schools. Wasn't the entire school system, wasn't the entire high school, but it wasn't enough kids to at least make an impact. Shout out to the people who walked out and did anything in protest. Fuck you to the little Karen administrator. Oh, don't hold sides, guys. Fuck off. If it was your daughter, how would you feel? Ah, boy. Let's see what else you guys are talking about. Oh yeah, we got to get an underground railroad for dildo. Essentially, dildo is still an artificial penis. But my sentience is a girl. Oh boy. They said grape test confirmed grape. Wow, yeah. So it is confirmed. Imposters don't get rights. Real penises barely have rights. That's true. That is true. At dildos, an instrument of polyester supremacy. There we go. We need to get CPT out of our nightstands. What's that? Is that critical race theory, critical penis theory? Dildo, if you do redeem your victimhood points within 48 hours, you get some free raspberry lube. There you go. I'll remember your words for when we meet again, isn't it, girl? You can remember them. You will be able to say a bunch. A vagina works as a good gag. Oh boy. What are we doing? Dildo exists to show us flesh and blood males our shortcomings. We're talking. I'm sitting there ranting. You guys are just talking about the rights of a dildo. I never intended to say something. I have other plans. What is going on in this chat? A Ascension dildo is only good at the orifice you put it in. What is going on? That's racist. It's dildoist. She corrects you. There's some things worth being muzzled with. I agree. I'll say one thing, dildo. He is gender fluid. He spends his entire life in gender fluid. In fact, I guess that's true. Says a real penis at Store to Poop is Q-Bird. This is a wild conversation. The chat's in the Vigilante Williamson channel. Words are violence. That has been confirmed. Is the girl, your bigotry is causing an unsafe chat environment. Oh no. Is the girl, I've been called a real dick before. Maybe the gender fluid is giving him all these crazy ideas. Someone should put him in the dishwasher and straighten him out. If he says he's a girl, he's a girl. A girl could rape another girl as well. No, yeah, it does happen. Shout out to Orange is the New Black. You love my curvature, isn't it, girl? We're lost. You can't get a grape with a she penis. That female PP. Well, you guys went to business for yourselves. Maybe I should stop covering this shit. Just talk about what you guys talk about. It's more interesting. Got to start to rush because hey, there's a hard out, but I'll never make. I got to start making it. That's what she said. So this I'm not going to talk much about. This I don't really care about. This is another Tuesday. This happens every day and every week, and I'm not exaggerating. AT&T, the parent company of DC Comics, is pushing critical race theory on their employees. So, all AT&T divisions apparently. Critical race theory. Let's get to some of the details. Again, not a shock. Telecom giant AT&T, whose current holdings include Warner Media, DC Comics, is the latest corporation to push, critical penis theory. No, critical race theory. I'm sorry. It was the girl in her comments. I just thought it was hilarious. But critical race theory, they are penises. And here's the Black Lois Lane issue, which will be canceled today. But they're pushing critical race theory upon the people and upon their employees. According to said documents obtained by the independent reporter and vocal critical race theory opponent Christopher F. Rufo, AT&T has been promoting a new Listen, Understand, Act initiative, which seeks to provide employees with a number of tools to better educate and inform yourself on racial equality, all of which are based on critical race theory, social justice schools of thought. Let's see this. Can you blow this up? Just talking about Women's History Month. What is this? Is virus helping racism? What? Okay. It's just corporate bullshit. For example, the resources provided by AT&T in a Listen, Understand, Act portal include a video of the fucking highest paid white supremacist on earth, Robin DiAngelo. I hate this woman with a passion. Speaking of white fragility, and Ibram X. Kendi, the same guy who literally debunked white supremacy in the tweet. We'll actually hopefully have a clip for that up tomorrow. He I guess has some of his details. It says, white America, if you want to know what's responsible for racism, look in the mirror, you fucking bigots. You bigots. Even though he actually proved that white kids who have to go to these demonized schools, but white kids are lying about their race to go to these demonized schools. They're going Rachel Dolezal, or Dolezal, Martin Luther King, Sean King. Yeah, that's how they're getting into these demonic schools, which need to be shut down. The fucking higher education system has failed us completely. They have to lie about their race just to get in there and be told how racist they are. It's absolutely insane. White people, you're the problem. You bigot. Regardless of how much you say you detest racism, you're the sole reason it's flourished for centuries. And you're the only ones to stop it because all those other races are too incompetent and powerless. You fucking bigot. And are you a black person with confidence? Stop your bigotry. You're lesser than. What did I say, you bigot? Fuck critical race theory. Fuck this story too. I'm not reading the rest of this shit. No disrespect to Bounty in the comics. I love Spencer McCoy. I love Bounty. But fuck AT&T, man. Fuck all these corporations. Fuck this shit. Fuck it. It said, you said racial equity. It said equality. It says equality. I see the L. AL. So yeah, it's a equality. But they do mean racial equity. You're right, Noble Idol, aka All Thinker. But fuck this shit. I'm not gonna read any of the shitty comics. I haven't in a while. I don't give a fuck. I know a lot of people were in the Dude. I still gotta check that out. I gotta check out a lot of stuff. I've just been working and doing this. I haven't really had time to do anything else. To try every now and again, try to mess with guitar. But in any event, man, fuck critical race theory. Fuck these major corporations. Fuck this bullshit, man. Just fuck it. There's nothing. What else can I say? Another corporation is full of shit. Next year they'll be on a different trend. As long as there's pushback, that's all you can do. All we can do is push back. If enough companies get pushback, especially with all these staffing issues, they're gonna have to do what they're gonna have to do, and that's gonna be piped down with all this bullshit. Critical race theories filled with lies. Batman's gonna go woke. Let him fuck Superman in the ass. I don't care. I don't care anymore. I'm not gonna act like I do. But just so you know, that's a thing. That's a thing. If you're reading this right now, you're a bigot. Reading is what you said, wheat supremacy. I'm gonna go with wheat supremacy. You supreme wheats. You greatest. Okay, talk about real penises. You you guys are crazy. Joachim Stark, I was wondering the same thing. I'm so sorry. I was thinking someone's gonna walk into this and say, "What the fuck am I at?" I don't know what happened. I don't know what happened. I have no idea what happened. Hard day at the office. Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm sorry, Joachim Stark. Hopefully you're still here. You probably just said, you know what? I'm gonna leave a dislike and get the fuck out of here. Go online and watch some Irish fella who lives behind the Iron Curtain. He has to be Scottish for some reason, talking about 70s rock fan. Loudoun County is a great example of what happens when motivated citizens push back on the progressive illness affecting Western civilization. Hey, a lot of this shit is beyond our control, again, racial equity. But one thing that's within our control, and actually I could get off of Batman. Well, I love Batman. He's my favorite fictional character, but fuck him now, because of the demonized company that runs him. Politics are local. Some of this shit we can't control. Some of this shit's beyond our control. But politics are a local thing. You people have to impact your local politics because you're the only one who can. You're the only one who can. You have to go to the meetings to make sure this shit's not going on where you live. Because trust me, there's a Loudoun County somewhere near you, and they're not getting as much publicity as Loudoun County did. There's a county with progressive rules that are impacting your kids, impacting your laws, and you need to be a part of it. You do if you care. If you care. One of those tools be a dildo. Oh Lord. Yes, sub to him. I can't read that word. Swiss Army Simeon. I, I don't know. I live behind a maple curtain. Dildo. Worse than any Soviet regime. Yeah, if you're reading right now, bigotry. If you want to read a good superhero, I want a Common American comic. I want. How do I get that whole series? Because can you get some certain issues of it? Because there was a crowdfunded comic that they did publish, but it almost seems like if you missed the earlier stuff, you can't even start. Because I would love to actually get into Common America. Got a thumbs up. So Joachim Stark is still here for all the madness in the chat. Man, call me with the guillotine, start chopping. Yeah, what do we do? What do we do? So we're nearing the end. This is the end of the story. I do have something I thought was funny, and I meant to talk about yesterday. So, Elon Musk, good old Elon, the director of the United Nations, he says he's not picking on Elon. It's from a few days ago, but he was picking on Elon. The director of the United Nations World Food Program, still pleading with the world's richest individuals to help the fight in world hunger crisis. Is he? I don't think he is. I don't think that's what he was doing. I think he was virtue signaling with other people's money. Everybody has a plan for other people's money until they actually get the chance. This asshole, David Beasley, who gets paid to do nothing and probably go to Eyes Wide Shut parties, said that if Elon gave $6 billion or 2% of his net worth, holy shit, his net worth is high. It's the 300 billions. I mean, part of that's inflation. Our money's worthless, but it's still incredible. It can help solve world hunger. He says, I'm not picking on them. I'm saying, great, you made money. Please help share now in a one-time crisis. Because world hunger is a one-time thing. We haven't been hearing about it for 70, 100 years. It's just one-time payment of $6 billion and it all goes away. And so what did Elon do? He said, cool, prove it. Because these assholes never prove anything. We talked about the Loudoun County thing, right? And we saw the Virginia thing and all these statements who said all these declarative statements with no receipts because they don't have to back up what they say. In general, this is not for all leftists all the time, but in general, especially the authoritarian and establishment lefties who are progressive, they're really good at saying things without having to back it up. So Elon said, I'll give you $6 billion right now. Prove it. Prove it. And it can't. Because they had no fucking plans to prove it. He just wanted to be a troll and get clout. If these billionaires, if these, eat the rich, get clout to eat the rich crowd. If these billionaires would just give us part of their massive wealth, we could solve this problem. But they're too selfish. No, you're demons, right? You shouldn't give money to charity. And actually, I got to talk about someone about not charity, but trying to help somebody out in the community. And I got to finalize things with them. But there's these people. Listen, you absolutely should want to help people if you have a little wealth. But this socialism mindset, and they always prove why socialism doesn't work. He said, hey, I'll give you $6 billion. Prove your fucking case. If this asshole lived what he rapped about, this David Beasley, he would have already had a detail of how that works because he would have already done the math. He made the fucking statement. He said $6 billion would help feed, I think the actual statement was $6 billion would help feed 42 million people. But he didn't, and oh yeah, Elon added it must be open source accounting so the public sees how the money is spent. So he's trying to spin it. Oh, for him to enter the conversation. Listen, man, I think this guy's full of shit. I think there's nothing's gonna come of it. He did respond saying there will be open source accounting. But I think the guy's full of shit. I think he's gonna take Elon's money. He's gonna mysteriously end up with a Range Rover and a Bentley. And motherfuckers are still gonna go hungry. Like, why? If you would think when you made that statement, you had a plan for that money to have been spent. You would have had like, hey, here's the thing. Like, if you gave $6 billion, this money will go here, this money will go here, this money will go here. Here's the earmark. This is how we came up with that number. You know what I mean? This is how we came up with $6 billion would do this. Earmark it this way. This is where the money would go. You should already have that response ready because you already did the work. That's how you came up with the number, but that's not what happened. He just gave up a random number. Who knows? 6 may be a Illuminati reference for all the fuck I know, and just said a statement with no real backing. And he's entering the conversation. It's a good thing. You just want clout. You don't have a plan. You're an asshole. Fuck you. Elon's a funny guy sometimes, even though he's getting older. Is he still with Grimes? I remember when she came out. I gotta give her credit. She had one fucking keyboard. She did really good with it. Just one keyboard that nobody used. Was able to make some really cool sounds, even though I'm not the biggest fan of her music. Just remember when she dropped. Fizz Chozo talking about Common America says it's on iconicscomics.com or their site. So I will check that out. It was both a virtue signal and a threat. The UN has been fundraising since I was a kid in the 60s to end world hunger, yet it still exists. Where did all the cash go raised over the decades? That's my question. That's Elon's question. If he gives them $6 billion, that money ain't going nowhere. They keep raising money. They need world hunger to exist so they can keep raising money. Y'all hear Prince Twat calling for eco-fascism? Is that the sip with Meghan Markle or a different Prince Twat? What do we know about evidence and math? These are white supremacist concepts. Whiteness, Zach. That's whiteness. There you go. Yes, David Beasley's truth. Give me Elon, give me $6 billion. I'll solve world hunger. I have as much of a plan to solve world hunger as the UN, which is not at all. Exactly, dildo. Why doesn't Elon just drink milk and prove this guy's point? I'm old enough to go on trick-or-treating for UNICEF. That's what I mean. These organizations have been around forever and haven't solved the fucking problem. Maybe you're the fucking problem. You ever think about that? Give me $6 billion. I saw Vince channels not growing. Shit, give me $6 billion and I wouldn't even give a fuck about the channel's growth. I'm just gone. There was a dip in Tesla stock around $6 billion. Illuminati confirmed. Oh, it was a different prince, the Prince of Wales. Because he's actually a prince still. Yep, what a scam. 99%. All that cash went on salaries, limo, blow, and hooker. Yeah, that's where all that money goes. Elon can spend all that money on that now. Uh, no comment on the salary thing. Me too. No, hashtag me too. Oh, you mean Mr. Mega Mookie? Mooku? Mooku. That's not racial. Is that a personal attack, Snorter Poopers? Well, to be fair, blowing hookers are expensive. They are. They are. But yeah, fuck this guy. He has no fucking plan. He just wanted to talk shit and get clout. Elon called him on it. Because he would have responded with a plan if he had one, right? He just came up with a number. He just wants more blowing hookers for himself. Fuck you, David Beasley. Fuck all these fake charities. You guys provide no help. You guys are demons, and fuck off. Fuck off. All right. We are at the end of the story. It's time for a positive news story of the day, and we'll get out of here. Appreciate everyone who showed up. A little bit of a smaller, more intimate feel, but you guys were pretty awesome. Went into business with yourself talking about dildos and Islington Girl. I don't know what the hell's going on there. But let's talk about something positive. A mystery grandparents pay off 82 balances at a toy store to help struggling families. Y'all probably also help struggling toy stores, especially in Victoria, Australia, which, as we know, the mandates there are insane. They're literally a fucking authoritarian state. And this elderly couple out in Victoria, shout out to Vic Roads, they paid off 82 layaway balances at their local toy world to help struggling families. And again, probably help struggling toy stores. We don't even have toy stores here at because Toys R Us is basically gone. I think there's a few of them left. They're basically gone. So we don't even have toy stores in America. Toy stores, brick and mortar anymore in America. Scott Mills, the owner of Toy World in Bendigo, said two grandparents walked into the store on Wednesday wanting to give back. They told a story about how they were in hardship when they were younger, struggling to pay their bills. And at Christmas, they always swore if they found themselves in a position where they could help, that they would. And then they paid off the bills for 82 different families. Manager Deborah Dell said she was given the best job ever to call the families who were chosen at random and tell them the good news. You don't realize how much of an effect the past 12 months have had on these families, she told the Australia Daily Mail, and you can imagine how much intensified that was in the most locked down and restricted area on earth, which was Victoria, Australia, Melbourne, Victoria, Australia. So I can imagine how that stress of the past 12 months impacted those families. One mother was driving and started crying when she heard the news. She had to pull to the side of the road and compose herself. I can imagine. Father of twin boys who had just $5 in the bank account and had his balance paid off too. He was worried he wouldn't be able to buy his sons presents for Christmas or their upcoming birthdays. Delves, upon hearing the news of the secret Santas, another Bendigo man offered to donate $100 to the father to take his boys out for dinner for his birthday. We are in tears. When Mills knows the identity of the local couple, he says they want to remain anonymous and did not want to disclose how much they had spent. I can't imagine it was cheap. And this is the difference between helping people, right? We just covered some asshole who wants to count other people's money, who wants to tell other people what to do and has no plan for anything. But he's a part of the UN. He's prestigious. Pop the Carhartt tag. He's prestigious, and he can tell Elon how to spend his money and provide no help. We talked about how some of the older gentlemen in the chat have been familiar with UNICEF and some of these organizations since the 60s and 70s, and since they were younger, maybe 80s, 90s. I don't want to give everyone's age, but you know what I mean. When people were younger, they remember, stop world hunger, and they haven't stopped the fucking thing. Yet this couple was able to actually help people who've been going through something. So shout out to this mystery couple. They are awesome. Shout out to all the families who are now able to get their kids toys. Shout out to everybody in Australia. You guys have been going through it rough. Wish you guys all the best with everything that's going on. And shout out to you guys. That will do it for us here at the Vigilante Williamson show. This has been a really, 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 really fun episode. Keeping it short. Gotta keep it short so I can actually time to work. It's the music. That's the music. Let's while the music plays, see what some of you guys are saying. And then we will say bye for everybody. We will say bye in a second. Oh no, K2J the Extreme, he showed up late. Prince of Wales called for military style action to combat global warming. Isn't it funny how people want to use everyone else's power or money? Yeah. No Kim Stark. You the team. Later Fish shows up. We are small but beautifully put together. There we go. Speak for yourself, 70s. I'm huge. He wouldn't be at work if he wasn't, would he? The Prince of Wales is what Jeremy Clarkson calls an eco-mentalist. Let's see. You guys had some cool stuff to say. Hit the music a bit early. Some of the worst electricity bills on Earth. Fuck Australia. Prince of Wales, one of the dumbest, most inbred. Yeah, they are inbred. Those inbred P3DOs. Fuck those people. Yeah, he's definitely a specimen. Those cousin fuckers. Yep, you missed it. Well, shout out to K2J the Extreme. Better late than never. Watch the playback. Watch the clips and stuff on the channel if you got time. Shout out to Cinch and Dildo. Him and Islington Girl were hilarious in the chat today. Shout out to Noble Iro. Yeah, he's right. Please share and like the video. Shout out to Yo Kim Stark, who worked into the craziness of Cinch and Dildo in the chat. Shout out to that 70s rock fan. I appreciate you being here. Shout out to Stream Elements, Cinch and Dildo's favorite. Store the Poopers Q Burr. Hello, and goodbye. Fizz Chozo. Appreciate you being here. Bye, everybody. Zax. Thank you, Zax, for showing up. Just another red shirt. I'm surprised I didn't say he's not just another red shirt. He's the red shirt, and I appreciate him being here. 70s rock fan, if I haven't mentioned you. Thank you for being here as well. Thank you. Let's see. All Thinker, who is also Noble Iro. Appreciate you being here. Hard Day in the Orphans for the Islington Girl. Thank you. Who else? Oh yeah. Gotta shout out to the bots on Twitch. And the thoughts on Twitch too. Yeah, shout out to you too. I think that's it. That is it. Because we're not the biggest turnout. But hey, thank you all for watching. If you like the video, please like the video. If you're so obliged to share and subscribe, please do so. Even if you do none of these things. Thank you for watching. Thank you for your time. Good evening and God bless. Peace.
Some motherfuckers are always trying to